There was this meme I saw of a man in silhouette about to dunk a basketball. Underneath it says, "I dunked on Tim Keller today." Someone brought that to my attention after I posted something criticizing a statement from Keller. I suppose the message is, haha, it's become a thing now. Yeah, everybody criticizes Keller. But doesn't he deserve it? I mean, we have hardly begun to dunk. There's much undunked. The point, though, is not just that Timothy Keller is a subversive agent of Marxism. He has prostituted his influence in the church in order to help people that are not Christians persuade the church of things that are false. Sure, that's all true, but the point is not that. There are many things that Keller advocates that other, more purportedly conservative people advocate. You know, I'm talking about the people that don't go to the New York Times or Washington Post and dunk on Christians in order to gain influence and credibility with non-Christians. I'm talking about people that actually act like Christians some of the time. They have the same ideas as Keller, and we need to talk about it. Well, let's talk about one idea that Keller advocates in particular. This is a tweet from him about a year back. He wrote, "Enlightenment progress has given us advances in science, but not in human dignity. The 20th century was actually the bloodiest century ever." Oh, Timothy, you're right. You're right, so many people died. Therefore, we should throw away Enlightenment progress. We should throw away Enlightenment reason. We should throw away John Locke and his philosophical understanding of individual rights. We should throw away the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. You're right, Timothy. Because a lot of people died. Wait. Rewind for just a moment. Why did they die? Let's think about that. Well, here's my reaction. Keller's rhetoric leaves much to be desired. It's about the most charitable thing I could ever say about that man. He is an opponent of objectivity. And his analysis reveals his subjective postmodernism. The same subjective postmodernism that you see in Karl Marx Truman or in Russell Moore. Enlightenment progress has led to advances in human dignity. It has. And not just from the point of view of what was possible materially, but what was the arrangement among people. We have a more just arrangement among people because of Enlightenment ideas. Enlightenment progress does not just include the Industrial Revolution, it includes the American Revolution. And it includes other revolutions throughout the world toward individual rights. So, for instance, in America, the end of chattel slavery. In Europe, the end of serfdom. Constitutions, limited government, recognition of individual rights. Now, yes, indeed, the 20th century was the bloodiest century ever. But how are you measuring this? Are you looking at it per capita? I mean, because there's some other facts that we need to bear in mind here. If you looked at it on a per capita basis, was it really the bloodiest? I think it was the bloodiest primarily because there were more people living in the 20th century than in previous centuries. By the 20th century, people had begun to reject Enlightenment ideals. I mean, do you think that Stalin accepts Enlightenment ideals like John Locke's ideas? Do you think that Adolf Hitler accepted John Locke's ideals? Individualism, individual rights? No. They embraced socialism, National Socialism, Marxism, international communism, ideas that actually fascinate you, Tim Keller. If you read Tim Keller, he's quite interested in Karl Marx. I mean, it's no surprise that the Gospel Coalition actually has courses on postmodern analysis. It's no surprise that they are pushing various ideas about critical justice. Keller believes these things, at least to a great degree. He's attracted to them, at least to a great degree, as is Karl Marx Truman. I mean, that's why these people want to position themselves as being third way. It's because they know that Christians will never accept much of what the Democratic Party stands for, but they can get Christians to accept a lot of what it stands for. That's what they mean when they talk about being third way. Why does Timothy Keller not mention in his analysis the fact that the population in the 20th century was greater than at other times in history? Or why does he not point out what facts made it possible? Individual rights, which went along with industrial progress? People and industries and governments in the 18th centuries and 19th centuries began to embrace Enlightenment ideals, which led to increases in the supply of food and wealth, and also increased value on personal liberty, the ability to start a business, that kind of thing. Now, Timothy Keller is not unaware of what I'm talking about here. But here, in his tweet, he lays the horrors of the 20th century at the feet of Enlightenment progress. Why would he do such a thing? It should be noted that the actual causes are found within the ideas that he advocates. What a man. Well, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about, why is it that so many people cannot reject what Timothy Keller is saying there? So many people would say, yeah, individual rights, they're never an absolute. That's what they say over at American Reformer, I'm sure. Where they want to downplay the Republican purported emphasis on individual rights and economic liberty and things like that. If you read these guys, you realize that they are not all that different from Timothy Keller. And that ought to give you pause. So those are my thoughts on Keller today and dunking on Keller. Dunk the good dunk.